That's enough of that. Oh. Hello there. I didn't get you wet or anything, did I? Breaking all of that ice. Nice ice you got there. Be ashamed if someone broke it. Sup, dudes? It's me again. You know, initially with the whole breaking the ice joke I was making, it sounded like I was trying to imply that I was making y'all's pussy wet. And I realize that now. And that's not what I was going for. I was just, I don't know. It's been a while, huh? Sup? It's me, your old pal, Andrew. Or Tank. Whichever one of those you prefer to refer to me as. No preferences here, no qualms here. How you been, gang? I'm good. Sorry it's been so long. You know how things go. Or do you? Well, allow me to fill you in. Sometimes people get busy. The end. No, there's more to it than that, of course. Yeah, so I haven't listened back to any of what I'm going to call the first season of Morning Drew. And this being either the first episode of season 2 of Morning Drew, or possibly just kind of an in-between transition. We'll see. I have not listened back, so I don't know exactly what was going on when I last left you all, but I know I wasn't in the best, or I should say highest of spirits. A lot of stress being back at the restaurant, and, there was a lot of commotion going on. And I thought I would take a week or two off, and then it may very well have been, 5 months, 6 months, maybe? Something like that. And in that time, things have happened. Nothing crazy. I didn't, lose a leg or anything like that. Although I'm close. I should go to the doctor. I'm fine. Some life events have happened that definitely contributed to me reevaluating where I needed to put my energy. Like I said, the restaurant got busy, and then, what else happened? I was traveling a lot, helping my parents out with some stuff. They moved. They no longer live in our hometown. In my hometown. It's not their hometown. They are from New York. No, they moved out of my hometown of Salinas, and they now live in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. The gambling place where gambling... Well, it's not the only gambling place, but, come on. Put together a top 3 list of places where gambling happens. Number 1. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Vegas, baby, and then maybe Reno, and I guess, I don't know, Atlantic City, depending on where you live. Maybe one of those reservation casinos where the Native American folk do their thing. But that took up a lot of time traveling, helping them get set up. Not that they needed my help that much, but, it's a lot. I've been doing a lot of stand-up, which is good. It's my goal, ultimately. And so a lot of my energy has been put towards, building better habits in that area of my life. Some of you listeners out there have a hand in creating audio material, and so you know how time-consuming, not just recording, but also, preparation and editing and uploading and things of that nature takes. There's a reason why, for some people, it is indeed a full-time job, because it is quite demanding. But, enough time has passed that I'm feeling myself wanting to get back to it. I do enjoy making this program, not just for myself, but for you fine folks who have supported me, or supporting me, thanks. But also because I have felt myself picking up some bad habits that I had thought had been quelled over the pandemic. I was putting a little bit too much of myself into my day job, and feeling myself get exhausted, and then when I have time off, I don't want to do anything because I'm fucking exhausted. And then I go back, and it's I take a week or 2 off because I'm fucking exhausted, I need some time off, and then I blink and it's been 2 weeks and I'm back where I was, and I'm what the fuck? And then I look at the calendar, it's been 5 months, and I'm what? Making note of it, acknowledging it, and correcting it. That's how I do it, baby. That's the Morning Drew style of doing things, is self-reflection. Appreciation, right? And joke right. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that third thing. I guess I'll address that since it's relevant. I do be writing, but I have not been writing the setup punchline jokes that I've made a part of this program. In performing stand-up, I'm rediscovering my voice and the type of material that I like to perform and create. Although practicing that set-up punchline format was very beneficial to me, it just isn't the organic way in which I perform. So I'm going to have to look into that format of this show and think about how I want to allow that to evolve. Because I do enjoy doing that. It's my favorite thing, I think, about this program. With the, excluding the part where I get to talk about all my favorite things uninterrupted. So I'm going to have to think about that. Like, instead of doing straight up a list of jokes that I read off, I might bring one topic that I think is funny and maybe make it a more collaborative thing with whoever I'm speaking with. Or I might just talk it out with myself and see if there's any meat on that bone. And then who knows where else that might lead. That's just a thought I had. Sounds like fun. Talking about stuff that is funny is a good time, in my humblest. It's good to be back. And a lot has happened, not just in my life, but, I'm sure in all of yours. It's been an interesting year, to say the least. Which of the past several years has not been interesting, 2017 and 18 were not interesting, I don't think. I think that's the answer to the question I asked. But we can move on. What's on the docket today? What have I been into? Ooh. Thanksgiving was a few weeks ago. That was nice. I hope you all had a good one. I hope you enjoyed the company of people whose company you enjoy. And that you ate some tasty food. And if you were not able to do either of those two things, well, just know that I love you and I appreciate you. And I hope you're okay. And that you found another way to enjoy your time. Or if you were at work, that you made some money at least. And if you didn't, that you find an answer to that issue in your life soon. And if you don't consider it an issue, then you know what? I don't know what the fuck you want to talk about, dude. I'm moving on, whether you're on the boat or not, man. Okay? I'm sorry your life sucks. No, that was mean. Your life doesn't suck. I'm sorry. I was just getting frustrated at this imaginary person that's keeps stepping on my toes. I had a nice time. Me and Angela went to a friend's house get-together situation, and we were in charge of bringing some stuff. We brought some stuff, and we had a good time. But what I'm getting at is what we forgot to bring, which was dinner rolls and butter. We had purchased a Costco-sized bag of dinner rolls and butter to bring to this occasion, and we didn't bring it. So, for the following weeks, we have been eating almost exclusively dinner rolls and butter. Take a guess as to whether that's a complaint or not. It ain't. Bread and butter fucking rules, dude. Bread and butter? You don't need anything. You don't need anything else. Who said you needed anything else? Sometimes you forget about the basics, about the building blocks, and you start to not appreciate them fully, and you think, oh, hamburgers, oh, this sandwich needs meat, oh, this needs sides, oh, this... Buddy, all you need is some bread and some nice room temperature butter. Or melted butter if you have that luxury about you, but I have found that getting you a butter knife, breaking you off a piece of room temperature butter, slapping it on a piece of bread, whatever temperature bread you want, room temperature, you want to heat it up, you want to toast it. Hot dog. You don't even need a hot dog. It's so fucking good, dude. I just ate like 5 pieces of bread with some butter before I started recording this. It's just so addicting. You just slap them together, have a bite. Oh, I should mention that for the time being, I am not abiding to the low-carb lifestyle. It's the holidays. It's, what are you going to do? I was thinking about it because I keep saying the phrase bread and butter, and that is a phrase that exists in regards to, like... the context in which I heard it was in regards to, like, deck-building games like Magic or Pokemon. There's the end games... How do I put this? There's the big strategy that does big stuff, and then there's like the smaller but more consistent things that allow you to make more headway. And my understanding was that that's the bread and butter of the deck. Is like these are the ones where you're going to be doing the most work, and this last one is what you'll be working towards. But at the time, I did not have that appreciation for actual bread and real butter. And so I heard, this is your bread and butter. And in my head, I was like, you mean the thing that takes up space for no reason while I wait for the real thing to happen? But now, it's the answer is, you mean the only thing that matters? Why is that other thing in my way? Why is that taking up space that I could have more bread and more butter with? But no, that initial definition, actually, now that I've said it out loud, is precisely correct in my opinion. Dang. You know what? This is all just an exercise for me to work stuff out, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. But yeah, that shit's so good. I just ate the last of the bread, so we no longer have bread. But I've got plenty of butter. I learned recently that there are people who leave their butter just out on the counter. I used to think that was disgusting, but apparently if you have salted butter, that is just the way in which it is supposed to be stored. You just have a little cover on it. And it seemed impractical, but in practice, room temperature spreadable butter is a luxury that I don't know if I can remove from my life. Having hard, cold butter is quite frustrating. It's manageable, but it's annoying. Having that nice, soft, spreadable butter at your disposal when it's time to get down, Lord have mercy. God save me. That's a habit I've picked up that I don't know is good or bad yet. I keep exclaiming religious phrases when I'm making statements. Like, God save us, and like, Lord, heaven above us, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. It's funny to me, because, I don't know, because it's just funny to me. But I'm reminded of a time when I used to go to church with my cousin, and we hung out with one of his buddies there, and that respective buddies' parents. And I started making a joke in vein of like, oh, good God, man, like taking off my glasses dramatically. And the parents turned around and were like, hey, so don't use the Lord's name in vain, dude. And even back then, I was like, I don't know if this counts. But, you know, I was young and I didn't know better. Now as an adult, I know for sure that it doesn't count. Fuck that. But I'm not going to go on a big religious tirade. I just wanted to address those exclamations. And you might catch me doing that again. That I'm like, Christ in heaven, Lord Jesus, Mary. It's just funny to me. But I don't think it's taking the Lord's name in vain. Just in case that's something you were worried about in your own life. I think as long as you're not profiting off of it and that you're not scorning or damning anything, you should be aight. I mentioned that my parents moved to Las Vegas, and it's true. They sure are there. I've already visited them twice at their new house, and it's so beautiful. It's in a nice retirement community with like 3 golf courses on it. So I scoured the web for cheap golf clubs so that I could play with my dad, and I found some, and it was a hell of a score. The guy was nice. He was like alternate universe version of my dad, and I could tell I was like alternate universe version of his kid, because when I mentioned to him that I specifically wanted these clubs to play with my dad who is retired, like I could tell he was like on the verge of tears. He was like, well, I'm glad they're going to you, kid. Nothing better than a dad and his son spending quality time together, all in the links. And that's exactly what we did. We went with my other sibling and had a good old time. It was their first time playing, my younger sibling, and that made me sad. I didn't know that they had never joined us, so I was even more glad that they were able to join us this time. And yeah, the fact that they're in Vegas is cool. You gotta get the gambling and stuff out of the way. At the time, I didn't know I was quote-unquote getting it out of the way. I thought I was just doing it. But now that I've gone a few times and we gambled a bunch, I'm like, hey, this isn't sustainable. I can't come here and fucking gamble and like drink 7 whiskey diets and play the funny slot machines like every time I'm here. And my dad was like, I'm glad you said that because I was ready to have a confrontation with you and the others. It's certainly very fun, and I will certainly still do that in my time visiting them. But there's lots of other stuff to do there, so I'm looking forward to going and spending more time with them. That Spotify Wrapped thing came out, and that was a lot of fun. I know everyone's posting it on their Instagram. You know, I try to tamper down my contrarian reactions. Like when a lot of people are doing something, it's very easy to be like, y'all are fucking dumb, dude. What the fuck? Get over yourself, dude. Let people enjoy what they're doing. Sometimes it's annoying, I'll admit that. It's a case-by-case basis, in my opinion. In this case, I think it's really fun. Why wouldn't you want to reflect on all the fun music you listen to? Like, I listen to something new every month or two, if not even more rapidly than that. If you asked me, hey, what did you listen to this past year? I couldn't tell you. And so to have this record of it is really fun, and seeing what other people listen to and kind of peeking into their life and seeing what's up with them. For some people, it is a personal matter, because it's like, well, that's weird. Why did you listen to this very sad breakup music for the 10 weeks straight? And it's just like, well, wasn't for gardening. I was very surprised to see how much Steely Dan I listened to. I don't feel like I listened to that much this year. Like in 2018 and 2019, maybe. I was really digging the Dan at that point. But this year I didn't know I was on it so aggressively. I did start listening to their first album, which before I thought was cheesy because it had two of what are, in my opinion, their cheesiest songs, which are Do It Again and Reelin' in the Years. Those songs stink. But when the trailer for that one fucking movie that has Dirty Work in it came out and the song Dirty Work was playing, and I found out not only was it by Steely Dan, it's on that record I was avoiding. I gave it a few spins, and wouldn't you know it, some of my favorite Steely Dan tracks are on that album. I just have to skip 2 of them. 3 of them. 2 of them. Yeah, Midnight Cruiser's fine. In particular on that album, I really love Only a Fool Would Do That. That song is great. But yeah, I was surprised by that. That was my number 1 artist. My number 2 was Gorillaz, which back in January, I remember, it was my first time checking out Plastic Beach. That album's fantastic. I was listening to that a lot. I don't think I really visited it much outside of that month of January, and maybe once or twice outside of it. But put him number 2. And then my number 3 is Frank Zappa. I did get really into him for a minute. The album Hot Rats is real fun. He is quite frustrating to listen to sometimes because he will have these very beautiful and lovely musical passages, and then they'll lead into Captain Beefheart like grunting about shit and talking about fucking like prostitutes and pimps, which I'm not opposed to the subject matter, but to like on Hot Rats, Peaches and Regalia is an incredible tune, and it leads into fucking I'm a little beep bop a doo ba da ba doo, I'm a fucking beak bow beak fuck sluts. It's so obnoxious. I always skip the second track on that and I just go into the rest. That has turned into like a common theme in Frank Zappa's catalog, is like going back and forth between gorgeous and obnoxious. But it was still fun to listen to all that. Plus I saw one of the first concerts I went to after they started doing live music again post-COVID is I went and saw King Crimson. That show was fun. They've got like 3 drummers, and so more than half of the show was just drum solos. And I mean, it was really cool. And they did play most of the songs I like by King Crimson, but there definitely reached a few points where I was like, hey man, when I bought the ticket to see King Crimson, it said King Crimson, not the drummer boys doing big drums. Still a good show though. But I say that because the opening act for King Crimson was the Zappa band, and it consists of a bunch of dudes who used to be a part of Frank Zappa's band. What's it, the Motherships or something? I don't remember. I didn't claim to be a big fan of his. I've just been listening to his music this past year. But it's just a bunch of dudes that were a part of his cast of characters for a while. Not him and not his son, who also does Frank Zappa covers. I won't get into that. That's a whole bag of worms. But it sucked. No, the show was great, but what sucked about my experience watching the show was I went to go buy a t-shirt while the very first band was on, which was, I think they were called the California Guitar Trio. I didn't really listen to them, but the line for shirts was quite long, and while I was halfway deep into the line after having waited, the Frank Zappa band goes up, and I'm like, I sure hope they don't play Peaches and Regalia yet, because I'd really like to be sitting down to listen to them play. Nope. Well, So I got to dance around while standing in line and watching the Megatron Jumbotron version of that song. But I got my shirt and was seated before their set ended, so that was fine. That was a cool show. What other shows have I been to? Angela and I went and saw Municipal Waste, a thrash metal band that we're both keen on. That was a lot of fun. They opened for Volbeat, a fucking like spaghetti western themed rock band. They've got a few good songs and a whole lot of fucking cornball ass dog shit. That sucks. My number 4 was Devin Townsend, who is a progressive / heavy metal musician that I'm very fond of. Check him out if you're interested. I recommend looking up Kingdom. That's a cool tune. Oh, I think I've talked about him before. Actually, never mind. I remember linking Kingdom before. I don't remember which episode, but if you haven't had the chance, check out Kingdom. He does a live performance for EMG or something like that. And then my last was Toby Fox, who is responsible for Undertale. The Undertale soundtrack is like not only my favorite video game soundtrack, it's just one of my favorite it's one of my favorite collections of music. I really love it a lot. I don't think I'm alone there, but it is quite great in my opinion. I don't remember listening to it at all. It's on here for some reason, but I don't remember when I listened. I'm sure I did because, as I mentioned, it's one of my favorites, but I couldn't tell you when or what part of it I was listening to, but whatever. That was that. Really into the Dan, though. Steely Dan. Definitely check those dudes out. Their first album is pretty good, apparently. I don't like Do It Again or Reelin' in the Years, though. Oh yeah, this is a bit of a throwback. Something like a year ago, when I started this project, Morning Drew, the podcast, one of the first things I was digging was the Jak and Daxter video game franchise. And for some reason, in my YouTube recommendations, I keep getting like speedruns of the game and like evaluations and analyses of the story and things of that nature, which I'm a sucker for. I'm extremely guilty of that meme where someone's like, an hour and a half long movie? No thanks. A 3-hour evaluation of a video game I never played? I'm in. I was watching it and I was like, oh yeah, I never finished Jak 2, did I? My evaluation of it a year ago was that it was thematic whiplash, where I went from happy-go-lucky, fun, bouncy Jak and Daxter to Grand Theft Auto, and it's true. But what I needed was a year to forget about how fun Jak and Daxter was and to just take Jak 2 for what it is. And that helped a lot, because I'm really enjoying that game. It's very fun. I've played enough open-world games now that it doesn't annoy me. The quality of this one, it's kind of like, just tell me where I need to go. Okay, I'll go there. I don't have the urge to kill prostitutes and rob liquor stores like I did when I was first playing Grand Theft Auto. At this point, I'm like, just tell me where to go. And I go there. I still don't like that games force me to skateboard and drive cars when I don't want to. This game, Jak 2, really wants you to scoot around on your skateboard. I'm getting better at it, so it's fine. But like, in the video I watched, they were like, at this time, Grand Theft Auto and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater were the most popular video games of all time at the time. And so, of course, if they want these kids to play this game, they would incorporate open world map and skateboarding. And it's fine. It actually is quite fun now that I'm getting the hang of it. There was one mission in particular, though, where like you were forced to skateboard, and the map is set up, it was when you have to grind on rails to break cables to bust the big drill. The map is set up in a way where you could do it in one fell swoop if you had enough momentum, but I just couldn't build the momentum, so I had to very slowly and sluggishly and sloppily like walk around, kill the enemies here so they don't bump into me, training wheels, grind, break the cables, okay. A map that should have taken like a minute took me like 15 minutes, but I got it done. And I found the precursor orbs, so some good came from it. But yeah, that game's fun. I never finished Jak 3, like, in my life, so I'm hoping that I can ride this momentum from this game and beat that game, because I'd like to get the full experience of this franchise that I love so much. I started playing that game, one, because I watched the video, and also I needed a break from Pokemon, because Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, the remakes of the Gen 4 Pokemon games, came out last month. That's been fun. I never played the Gen 4 games. I think I've mentioned that to you guys. Yeah, I never finished that Platinum Nuzlocke that I started however long ago. I don't know. I didn't like using my computer. I was emulating it. I didn't like the experience of using my computer to play, so now it's on my Switch. And that's been real fun. Others have pointed out this issue, though, where they don't let you turn off the EXP share. For those of you who don't play Pokemon, typically the only Pokemon that would get experience to level up with is the one participating in the battle, which would incentivize you to switch around, don't grow too dependent on one Pokemon to overlevel it, and also like add an element of difficulty, because you have to grind sometimes to level up your team. And it also stops you from getting overpowered too quickly. This game forces you to share your EXP experience, whatever you want to call it, with your whole team, no matter what, and there's no option to turn it off. My team became very overpowered very quickly. And not only that, the game also gives you some of the best Pokemon of all time at no cost immediately. There is a water type mythical called Manaphy. If you bought the game when it came out, they just give you it, and it's the best water type of all time. It's banned in every format, except you can use it to play the game, the story of the game. They also give you a Mew and a Jirachi if you own the other two Pokemon games for the Switch, which I do. And with just those three, it's a lot. I had to stop using them because I was like, this is becoming very boring. And even when I'm not using those three, which already are a problem in and of themselves, my team just gets overleveled super fast. And so I'm like switching Pokemon out constantly, and I'm like, well, I want to use this one, but I don't want to be bored. So I had to take a break from that game because it was becoming a little obnoxious. It's fun though. It's already better than Sword and Shield, I will say that. Sword and Shield is very hand-holdy. It doesn't feel like I'm playing the game as much as I'm just taking a tour of the game, and it lets me press the buttons sometimes. This game, I actually kind of feel like it's providing some challenge, which contradicts what I was just saying about the battling being easy, but that's because of, I don't know. Maybe I just contradicted myself. Maybe I'm just going to let myself contradict myself. I don't care. I think that's all I had to say. I'm glad to be back. My mouth kind of hurts from talking. I think I've had enough. I think I'm done. Should I do another little fucking guitar noodly for the outro? Nah. I enjoyed that. I don't know if you enjoyed that. You could, if you skipped it, that's cool. I won't hold it against you. Oh yeah, jokes. Normally I would tell jokes at this point, wouldn't I? Well, this is an older joke that I'm thinking about bringing back. Some backstory. When I was visiting my parents most recently, we went to a comedy show. Not a big name necessarily, not a big name at all, actually. We have gone and seen Carrot Top once, and that was awesome. I have nothing but high praise for Carrot Top. That was a very fun show, but that was a different visit. This most recent visit, we went and saw these other dudes and a lady. They, well, I'm not going to give my full analysis, but ultimately the show was, it was fine. But one of the topics that one of the comedians covered was relevant to a joke that I've written in the past, and I was telling my parents about it, which is, that. How do I put this? Like, with gynecology, there is a device that the doctor uses to look at private parts, and it kind of looks like a duck beak. The way it's shaped, you could look it up. It's called a speculum. And my line of thinking was, if they had gynecology back when the Flintstones were doing their thing, there was no better time to be a duck. That was the time where you wanted to be a duck. Because one, you already got the right shape, and two, ducks love bread. What else we got to talk? Okay, turns into a dirty joke at the end there. I think there's some meat on that bone. In the past, when I've tried to use it, half of the crowd does not know what a speculum is or what gynecology is because they are men. And so there is a lot of setup involved that I think could be worth it. We'll see. That one's on the workbench currently, but we'll see. Do I have any other jokes that I was interested in sharing? Nah, that's a joke. Hope it was worth it. Alrighty, gang. Thanks for tuning in as always. Thank you for your patience while I figured out my life and stuff. I love you, and I am grateful for you, and I will see you again soon. I hope you're drinking water. If you're not, then come on, man. We're adults here. I looked at my fucking database. I looked at my listenership. I know who you are. We're adults here. You're all fucking 30. I know you are. All of you. You're all 30. Drink water. Water is the elixir of life. It is incredible. If you think, hey, I know what you're thinking. That stuff tastes so boring. It's bland, blah, blah, blah. Consider this. Slip a little bit of lemon in there. Ooh, boy. Slip a little bit of that citrus. That might just change your mouth. Let me tell you. That might just change your life.